Hey everyone! Today I'm gonna walk you through the full painting process of the Thessarak, the massive final boss from our December bundle, Destroyer Armageddon. I'm Manu, Lutz Painter, and in this video you'll see classic miniature painting techniques, but mainly how to paint scales, spikes, and other details that are super useful for all kinds of RPG creatures in whatever scale you would like. If you want to get your hands on this monster along with playable terrains, highly detailed minis, and 12 high-level heroes, the link to the bundle is down in the description. And if you missed it, we just released a full video showing the complete printing and assembling process for the 75mm Thessarak, available both in FDM and resin. Make sure to check that out too. Now let's get to painting! The airbrush is the fastest way to cover the entire model with primer, laying down the first layer of color and even adding some initial shading or highlights. So, after priming, let's cover the whole miniature with a very desaturated purple. Now we go in with a very dark and cold red and spray it over the back, the sides of the legs and the top of the tail. Try to avoid the spikes on the back and tail as much as possible. Now we move on to the general dry brushing. On the belly, the inside of the legs, the neck and the jaw, basically all those grayish areas, we start with a big brush using black leather again. This helps clean up and correct any areas where the airbrush might have oversprayed. From there, we begin bringing out texture with a warm gray, focusing more on the areas that would naturally catch light. And then we push the highlights even more with a peach tone. Adding this yellowish tone boosts saturation and really gives that effect of direct light hitting the model. Now let's work on the back, the sides of the legs, the top of the tail and the head. Basically all the warmer and orange zones. We start by warming up that cold red we airbrushed earlier with a dry brush of 3 accents from Army Painter. This immediately starts defining the volume. Then we dry brush again using burnt orange from Pro Acryl, focusing mainly on the lit areas. We follow that with another layer of dry brushing using dark sun yellow from Two Thin Coats, again reinforcing the highlights. And finally, on the highest points, we do a light dry brush with elf skin tone, just enough to catch the peaks without overdoing it. Now, drop your brush. If this video is helpful to you, so you can like and subscribe to our channel. That support lets us keep teaching, sharing tips, and painting lots of cool miniatures. Moving on to the spikes, we go back with a medium brush and dry brush black leather on them again, just to clean up any overspray or any mistake. Then, we start building them up with a warm, desaturated brown across almost the entire surface. This warms the spikes and starts defining the shape. Next, we dry brush the areas that would be brighter, making sure not to fully cover the browns underneath, using red-gray from Pro Acryl. On the very tips, we add a dry brush of a warm off-white. And to finish them, we apply a brown wash, mostly around the base of each spike and in the deeper shadows. We avoid getting it on the highest highlights, so the contrast stays sharp. For the scales on the legs, we start with a dry brush of oak brown. The base color underneath doesn't matter too much here, since this step already creates variation between the scales. Then, we brighten the lit areas with elf skin tone again. After that, we apply a brown wash mainly around the borders of each scale. Once that dries, we reinforce the edges with a dry brush of cloudy sky, which really makes the scales pop. From here on, the detailing is optional, because the dry brushing really gives the creature a really solid overall look. But we like to focus on the face, and you can use these same techniques anywhere else. So let's talk about the horns and spikes. Wherever we need to re-establish a base coat, we use black leather again. Then, we start adding small streaks with black-brown, and little by little we mix in cloudy sky as we reach the raised areas. We finish with a brown wash, mainly at the bases of the horns and the shadowed areas. You might notice these are the exact same colors we used earlier. We're just applying them differently now. For the tongue, we used blue-tongued lizards as reference. The Malfa red has that cold red base we applied with the airbrush. On the tongue itself, we apply a base coat of abyss blue. Then we add some small streaks in the lit areas using turquoise, and a few brighter streaks using cloudy sky. After that, we cover the entire mouth with a red wash. And to blend everything, we glaze the inside walls of the mouth with abyss blue, but without fully covering the cold red underneath. Moving on to the face, we start by applying dark red tone to all the shadowed areas and also over the teeth and gums. For the eyes, we start with a solid light base coat, then layer a very saturated yellow on top of it. We follow that with a dark red tone wash to deepen the eye socket and clean up the edges. And if you want, you can add a tiny dot of pure white for a nice reflection. For the highlights, we go back to cloudy sky, raising the brightest points on the cheek scales. And we also use it to add thin streaks to the teeth. We leave a bit of red showing through, then finish with a pure white on the sharpest highlights. All of these detailing steps can also be used on the leg scales, the back and tail spikes, and even the claws. Just focus more on the areas you want to draw attention to. In our case, we emphasized the face, the neck, the front leg, and the tip of the tail. To finish everything, once the miniature is completely dry, we apply a wet effect using still water inside the mouth and on the eyes to give them that glossy, wet look. You can also use gloss varnish if you prefer. And that's it! Our Thessarak is fully painted. If you enjoyed the video and want to see a lot more, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd like us to make a painting video on a specific topic, or if you have any miniature painting questions you'd like us to cover. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.